Hello everybody, so welcome back to another YouTube video, and this time around I'm in Jeffreys Bay, what was in Port Elizabeth, for the launch of the updated Polo Vivo GT. Volkswagen do say that this is a new car, but we can see that it is a facelift, and I'm going to show you obviously what's been changed or what's been tweaked around the car, especially starting here with this front end. So at the front end, you've got now a new GT badge. This is the range topping GT range, and I think let's just get straight into pricing. GT model will start at 356,000 Rand, and the range entirely starts at 266,000 Rand for the Vivo, and you've got different style models and life models, etc. And I'll put that on screen for you guys. But I'm just going to show you the top of the range GT line, which is this model right here, and you do have it in various colors. That's a new color over there, if you guys can see. That's a new color over there, which is now called Escort Gray, which I think look good, especially on that Vivo. But getting back onto this GT line, you've got a new front apron, which I think, yes, it looks okay, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that people can put these aftermarket, but you've got this new, you can see the bumper extends all the way there with obviously the color-coded bumpers, which goes all the way from one end to another. You also have the fog lamps now, which obviously Volkswagen knows that a lot of people like driving with those on, and now you got that. And then you've got this, you can also get with LED daytime running lights, but I think it looks really good. And then when you come across the side, you've got those 70-inch mirror ball wheels. You also get 15-inch Ubomi wheels, sorry, which have been put on the other models, and I'll show that on screen for you guys. But essentially, those are the changes that you can see at the front, and I'll show the rear for you guys in terms of other changes. But I think it just looks good, especially now with obviously the GT line now getting the black mirror caps, the black roof, which also looks good. Unfortunately, no panoramic sunroof that's coming onto this model, so yeah, you're gonna have to do that on your own, but I just think it looks really good. They've also taken out the GT line decals that used to be on the other models on the side of the doors, which I think, yeah, it's a welcomed addition, to be honest with you guys. At the rear, the most visible changes are essentially just the badges, and what they've done, and it's not gonna take much really, they've taken the Vivo badge and place it in the middle, just centralizing it and just ensuring that it obviously goes with the standards of the entire group. So if you see the Polo level Polo badge right there, the GTI, I will also say GTI in the middle, and that's essentially all they've done. And that GT badge has also been worked on and tweaked on, and yeah, it just looks essentially just like the entire family, really. Nothing special, but those are all the changes that have been done. No changes at the tail lights, the exhaust, nothing. So let me just quickly take you inside, and then we can take it from there.
Enjoy the drive with the new Vivo!
Let's just start as I get inside. I'm just going to start with the elephant in the room, and I've been asked, does the rear now have electrically operated windows? And no, you still get the windy on there. And then in here, what they've done is they've given us new seats, which does look good, especially this red combination, but you also can get it in black. And yeah, the biggest elephant in the room again is that 9-inch infotainment, which is called a Mirror Go, and it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Unfortunately, not wireless. It does use the cable. There's only one USB port in this car, which for me has been the biggest problem, especially for a passenger car that's aimed at, you know, the youth, and obviously the youth is always having people in the car. Sure, there is a 12-volt socket there that you can obviously connect an extra charging thing, that extension you have to get, but I do find that a bit weird, considering that the likes of the Suzuki Baleno has 4 USB ports in the entire car, 2 at the front and 2 in the rear, and that time there are USB Type C's, whereas this is not even a Type C, that's just a Type C extension, that there's a normal USB extension. But yeah, that 9-inch infotainment does look good, the graphics are good, and there's a lot that you can do there. Let me just jump over to the driver's side and just show you everything else. So this is the driver's seat. It's got a really nice leather wrapped steering wheel, and I do like the feel of this, multifunctional as well, and it's just a really good steering wheel. Obviously this has been in the generation for quite a long time now, and as you come closer here, your driver display, which is analog, as well as a little digital screen in the middle there. Air vents all over, you can, your light control switch right there, open, close, and obviously you only have 2 electrically adjustable, well, electrically controlled windows. Your aircon controls still very old school. In my 2013 Polo GTI, I had these. You can watch that review on my channel. But this is the biggest update in here, and I think this is brilliant. It's gorgeous. You can see almost everything from your range, and obviously quite a lot of range, 620 Ks, when we do know that. I'll touch more on that later on, but everything that from your media, it's really fast and responsive, this 9-inch infotainment. I am pretty sure that it's going to be available as an aftermarket thing everywhere, because I do know that this space obviously is quite, you can work with it almost with everything. You also now have ESC on here, which is cool. Across the range, you've got ESC now, as well as airbags, front airbags in the front, sorry. And yeah, this is a really good looking infotainment with obviously Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and yeah, nothing more that I can really touch up on. And I think they say that they've put in some nice things on the infotainment. Essentially, you can choose your touch sounds or your to be off, and I think that is cool. So I'm just going to speak on the drive and then take it from there. But nothing has really changed in terms of engines and the lineups. But I do think that the interior overall just looks good, especially with this red detailing that's happening here, red and black, just giving it a really sportier look. But I am upset that this is the only USB that you get in the car, and obviously a 12-volt socket, whereas I think that the entire generation of these cars in this segment have really moved on to obviously accommodate a lot of people. And obviously your one light for the whole car, which is right here. But yeah, let's go for a drive. In terms of the drive, the car is obviously powered by a 1-liter TSI engine, and I do think that this is the pick of the bunch. You do get a 1.4 in the other models. I'll put that on screen for you guys, with less power. Power in the range starts from 55 kilowatts going all the way to this 81 kilowatt engine that we do have in this GT. And it's in manual, and I think that that's the best gearbox you can essentially go for. There is a Tiptronic, but I always say that in this segment of cars, when you're buying this car, leave the automatics alone. Just stick to the tried and tested manual recipe, which I think works gorgeous. Now, it's great. The seats have obviously been reworked on, and they do feel comfortable. The suspension on this car, and I was driving with my co-driver today, Mtura, and we're just speaking about just how the entire suspension soaks in road imperfections perfectly. I don't think anything in the segment does that, and you do have to give credit where credit is due. Sure, this car it is dated in terms of, like I've told you guys, some of the things in here are from my 2013 Polo GTI, the switches, etc. And obviously that's just to bring the cost down. And obviously with this coming in at 356,000 Rand, for this GT line model that we're driving. It does drive great. The pedals, great, have a great feel to it. The clutch is perfect. I do think Volkswagen has the best clutch in the business throughout their range. So it's things like that that just makes it really worthwhile. I do think that the fact that I have to manually control my windows is a bit of a faff. The fact that there isn't more than one USB port in here is a problem, considering that it's a passenger car and there's going to be people in here, like I've mentioned earlier on. The fact that the rear passengers have to manually wind up their windows, especially at this 356,000 Rand price, for me is a hectic thing to look at. But other than that, I do think it's a great product. It drives brilliant. This car will go over 600 kilometers. Geez, close to 700 kilometers on a single tank. So it's very fuel efficient, this TSI engine. You can reach as low as 4.2 liters per 100 kilometers in this car. So you'll never complain about fuel efficiency. And I think that's the nice thing in terms of they're aiming for that target where people obviously are quite cash strapped. So at least you're saving in one element of that. And that's going to be fuel economy. So yeah, it's a 6-speed gearbox, so obviously you never really over revving in hearing that entire that you do get in the likes of the Suzuki Baleno. This 6th resting gear is perfect. So yeah, that is the drive of, the launch impressions of the updated Polo Vivo. I do know there's going to be a lot of slack for it, but I do think it's a winning recipe for Volkswagen, and they're going to be building this a lot. You do get a black package model, and only 1,000 of those will be made. And hopefully you can, get your hands on that, sorry. Don't forget to keep liking and commenting and subscribing to the channel. We're gunning for that 5,000 subscriber point. You can also use the link in my description to get a quote from Naked. I do know that a lot of Polo drivers are not insured, which is a problem for me. And I mean, there's over 65% of drivers on the road who are not currently insured. Don't be that guy who's not insured. Use the link in my description or the link on my pop-up for you to get a nice code from Naked. I'll also be giving tickets to Festival of Motoring. So yeah, see you on the next one. From me, I am signing out from Jeffreys Bay. Peace out.